powerful end of the year review that you must do. Do not end your year. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200 without doing this powerful end of the year review. Now, I'm going to dive into some of the audits and some of the questions that I review with my husband, that I review with my team, and that I review for myself to go into the new year strong. Now, I do a couple different exercises here, and the way that I break this down is what are the questions that I'm going through myself? What am I evaluating? What am I journaling on or answering questions on? And then what am I going through with my spouse, my partner, or my team? So I want to break down this 3-step process for you. And I hope that you implement this so you have a really powerful and strong 2024. This is why I said don't end the year without doing this first, because it's going to be really important that you use this as your game plan, as your strategy going into the new year. So let's break it down. This is a 3-step process. So step number 1, I want you to do a calendar audit. So what you're going to do wherever you have your scheduling, your appointments, whether it's on a physical planner or through, I use Gmail, my Google Calendar, everything is in one spot. So I would pull that up. I would go through the months and I would ask myself a couple questions. I would say, what did I have on my calendar each month that served me really well? And an example of this is that, as you guys know, I'm only working in the business Monday through Thursday. So my Fridays I keep open. These are my creative days. These are on my business days. These are my expansion days. So that has really served me over the past years, where I'm just not always working in the business. I get to be creative, work on the business, have Freedom Fridays, be with my kids, have a day with my husband, have a day of self-care, or a day of creativity in my business for the growth of what's to come. So that's something that has really served me and that I'll continue to do going into the new year. So I want you to look at month by month, look at the calendar, and I want you to look at when you had certain launches or when you were traveling. What I like to do is look at my calendar as a whole and say, okay, when are the months that we're really, really going to go hard in a launch strategy, or we're going to be really specific in putting out a new service or a new product that we have. And then also, when do I want to peel back a little bit? When do I want to kind of pump the brakes? And an example of that, 2 examples of that actually would be during the summertime, because I don't know what it is about summertime. It's just most people are not plugged into their business the same way as they typically are when their kids are not home from school. So that's a time that I really want to be present also with my kids. They're not in full on summer camps or things like that. We're doing a lot of traveling, spending time together. So that's a time, and same as the holidays, when I know that I want to be more present and not be working more hours. I'm just going to be more strategic. So I want you to do that calendar audit and figure out what this is going to look like for you going into 2024, and where you are promoting certain things, how you're showing up, what events you're attending. Look at that now, because as you plan out your year, you're going to need to know where you're showing up and what you're prioritizing ahead of time. You're going to need to know what events you're going to. You're going to need to know, again, all of the things that go into planning a really successful year. You're going to want to do this ahead of time. So just make sure that as you do this and as you go through this process, you're really aware of the different seasons or holidays that you want to be working more in, or where you want to be present in other areas. So that is step number 1, which is your calendar audit. Now, number 2, and I have an entire training on this. I'm actually going to share the updated training on this. I want you to do your sexy calendar planning. Now, this is when you sit down with your spouse, your significant other, and you go through, I'm going to link the video here because I have the entire training on this. I want you to go through your calendar now that you have done this yourself and you've kind of gone through this calendar audit yourself. I want you to do this with your spouse. I want you to look at a few key factors. So you're going to look at travel time. When are you or your spouse or significant other traveling? When do you want to plan your vacation time? So Jared and I very strategically planned 4 really big vacations this year. We did one every quarter, and we actually had a bonus one in there in December that we went to Disney, but we were really strategic about planning out our holidays or our vacation time every single quarter as a family. So we put travel time in there for business. We put travel time in there for vacations, intentional family vacation time. We put anything to do with my work schedule, my husband's work schedule, the kids' school schedule. So like spring breaks or winter breaks, things like that. So it's really important that as you're building this out, you also are acknowledging your goals, like the goals that you're setting up for yourself, which is going to be a part of part 3, section 3 here, that we're going to dive into how this all ties together. So you're kind of going backwards to then go forwards. The backwards part is the calendar audit. The second part of this is the current, where you're going to be focusing on your partner's schedule, your schedule, and bringing that together. And then the third part is a really, really fun exercise that you get to go through. And these are more so like journaling prompts. And what I would recommend is that before you sit down with your team, your spouse, your partner, you answer these questions first. So I'm going to go through, if you're driving, just kind of answer them, to yourself. If you are doing this exercise where you can actually write these questions down and then go back and journal on them, it's going to be a very powerful exercise. Then you can loop this all together. And as you're creating your calendar, put the answers to these questions a part of the goals that you're going after for the new year. So you see how this all ties in together. It's very strategic. It's very powerful. And if you do this right, not only will you accomplish all of your goals that you're setting for yourself in this new year, but you're going to actually accomplish them way faster than you ever thought possible. So let's dive into these questions. There's 13 questions that I'm going to share with you that I want you to journal on, that I want you to acknowledge and answer for yourself first, and then share these with your team, your spouse, anyone that is a big stakeholder in your life. You're going to want to go through these answers with and have them do the same. So let's dive in. Okay. Question number 1. What were my major accomplishments this year, both personally and professionally? Now, when you write this down, you can have 2 different columns. You can write them through. Also, as you go through your calendar, it's going to kind of jog your memory to remind you what those big accomplishments were. So do this, take time to do this. Like take time to strategically go through and do this audit, to do this journaling. Second question, what were the most significant challenges or setbacks I faced and how did I handle them? Now, the second part of this question is really important because you're not just saying to yourself, well, this is what I struggled with. This was a setback. This was a challenge. You're also acknowledging how you handled this, how you were able to navigate it. Because as you navigate these things, it's going to be easier in the future for you that if this does come up again, you're going to know how you handled it or how to better handle it in the future. So what were the challenges or the setbacks and how did you handle them? Number 3, did I make progress towards achieving my long-term goals? Also, what steps did I take? So you see, we're not just asking one question. We're getting really specific in the steps that you took because success leaves clues. And if you're achieving these long-term goals, I want you to figure out the plan, the steps that you took along the way to achieve these goals. So next time you set a goal or a target for yourself, you're going to be able to hit it a lot sooner, right? You're going to say, I know how I got there. These were the steps that I took. Even if it's not the same kind of target or goal that you have, you're going to be able to identify the steps that you took in order to reach the success that you had. Question number 4, what new skills or knowledge did I acquire this year? So did you take new courses? Did you learn a new skill? Did you invest in new mentorship or courses that you learn new information? This was the year, 2023 was the year of AI. So I can guarantee if you're a business owner, you probably invested in some kind of knowledge of AI in your business, personally, professionally. If you've been here on the Slay Your Day podcast, I've spoke a lot about the AI that I use in my business, the different technologies, and being able to implement that, again, to work smarter, not harder. So I want to know, and I want you to journal on what new skills or knowledge did you acquire this year? Number 5, how did I manage my time? And did I use it effectively to accomplish my goals and priorities? Now, again, the first part of the question is, how did I manage my time? So rate yourself, give yourself a score from 0 to 10. How do you think that you managed your time in an effective and efficient way, right? Like if you gave yourself a 5, why did you give yourself a 5? It's easy to say, well, I managed my time great or not so great. But like, what does that mean? You have to be able to equate some kind of number, some kind of statistic to where you're at so you can get better at it, right? The only way that we get better is focusing on where we're at, acknowledging it, and then saying, I can get better in this area, or I did really good, but I could still do this to get better. Give yourself a score, 0 to 10. Yes, we got to start at 0 to 10, 0 being like horrible. Everything was mismanaged. You were missing appointments and showing up late, maybe forgetting. To 10, it was perfect. Everything was well scheduled. You couldn't have done it better, which in my opinion, I will never be perfect at anything I do. There's always room for growth. So rate yourself 0 to 10. How did you manage your time? And did I use it effectively to accomplish my goals and priorities? Number 6, did I prioritize my physical and mental well-being? How can I better care for myself in the upcoming year? Now, again, I would give myself a score on 0 to 10, and I would look at the big key contributors. Did I move my body at the amount that I wanted to? Like for me, it has to be every day. So if the goal is every day, did I do it every day? Or did I fall short? Did I only get 5 days a week or 6 days a week? How can I incorporate more of that into my life? Did I drink enough water? Did I cut out sugar? Did I eat whole foods? Did I get good quality sleep? All of these things factor into your physical health and mental well-being. So I would give myself a score. I would look at all these factors that are components of physical and mental well-being, physical health and mental well-being. And then I would figure out how I rate myself. Number 7, who were the most influential people in my life this year? And what did I learn from them? Right? So like really take a look at who's in your circle. Who do you have in your life that you're learning from, that you're stepping out of your comfort zone and taking on new opportunities? Who are those people? Be very, very specific about who they are, how they impacted you, and what did you learn from them? Moving on to number 8. How did I invest in my growth this year? How will I invest in my growth in the new year? So what did you do this year that contributed to your growth? Did you attend seminars? Did you join academies and coaching? If you are new here to the Slay Your Day podcast, I would love to invite you into the High Performance Accelerator Academy. This is an academy of high performance women where we tap into our personal, professional, financial, spiritual, all the things growth, where we get to really focus on growth strategically every single day. So no matter what you're focusing on, there's going to be a system, there's going to be a strategy, and you will have support. So I really want you to figure out over the last year, over 2023, how did you invest in your growth? It could be books, seminars, coaching, mentorship, courses. How did you invest? And how do you plan on investing in yourself, in your growth for the new new year. And again, this is going to be the last episode of the Slay Your Day podcast for 2023. So if you are hearing this right now, you want to invest in yourself for coaching or mentorship, I'll give you my personal email, sandra@sandraglandt.com for one-on-one coaching with me. If you reference this podcast, I have a special gift waiting for you if you decide to invest in your one-on-one coaching for 2024. Or I invite you to join the High Performance Accelerator Academy with the discount code. I will put this in the show notes, but that's going to be sandraglandt.com/HPAA special for High Performance Accelerator Academy special. So you guys, don't wait on making the investment in yourself. It will be the biggest ROI that you can give yourself. Time and time again, my clients rave about how they have been able to save themselves so much time, get so much clearer and more strategy in their business, and double and triple their income, but not having to work more time, more hours, right? So really focus in on what it is that you want going into this new year and figure out what that growth plan is. Question number 9. What are the 3 most important lessons I learned in the past year, and how can I apply them to make the next year, 2024, even better? What I love about this question is, again, you have to kind of go back and figure out, what was it? Like, what were those lessons that stood out for you? Was there a relationship that maybe it didn't turn out the way that you wanted it to? Was there an experience that you had? Did you invest into something that the outcome just wasn't what you thought it was? Did you have relationships or become close with people that maybe you didn't think it was going to be something, it wasn't going to be an investment, but it turned out to be the best investment that you made? An amazing, healthy relationship, again, personally or professionally, that taught you a lesson. So what was it, and how are you going to apply that into the new year to make it even better? Number 10, what were my most memorable experiences or moments from the past year, and why do they stand out? I would say pick a good 2 or 3 memorable moments. There's so many moments that stand out for me. There's so many memorable moments that I really loved about 2023. And I think that it's really important that we reflect on this, because when you figure out what those memorable moments are, that will help to be your guide, because it's going to answer a lot of questions for you. Was a memorable moment something that happened personally? Was it something that happened professionally? Maybe it's a mix of both, but you have to answer why, because as you create your roadmap for the new year, you want to duplicate or replicate the things that went well. And if you had a memorable moment and you want more of that, we have to acknowledge why it was such a memorable moment and why it stood out. So this is such a powerful exercise, because you're answering those questions and duplicating that going into the new year. Number 11, what habits or routines did I establish or break this year? How did they impact my life? So what habits did you break? Did you start getting up early? Maybe you broke the habit of hitting the snooze button because you listened to Sandi's Slay Your Day podcast episode about becoming a morning person, or you broke the habit of working past, 5 o'clock, or you broke the habit of scrolling social media or only sticking to social for an hour a day. I don't know what it is for you, but there's so many habits and routines that are either making or breaking us. And every single one of those habits, it's almost like it's clockwork. Like we don't even have to think about it. So this is one of the most powerful questions that you can answer, because your habits will create your life. Your habits will create the future success that you're going to have, either in a positive way or in a negative way. Those habits will create your future. So I want you to know, and I want you to reflect on what those habits are or what those routines are, because if you created a positive routine, you're going to see that ripple effect. If there was a negative routine that you established, there's probably also a ripple effect going in that direction that you want to stop before it goes too far. So what were those habits or routines that you established this past year, or that you want to break? Because it's really important that if there's one that you're going down the path that you know is not a healthy habit, that we break it going into the new year, knowing what that game plan is. So it's really important that we answer this question. Question number 12, to really have a powerful end of the year and go into the new year very strong is, did I take any risks or step out of my comfort zone? What did I learn from these experiences? Now, maybe stepping out of your comfort zone is showing up live on social media. Maybe it's stepping on a stage. Maybe it's going to networking events and meeting new people that are getting you out of your comfort zone. I actually want to hear from you on this because I think it'll be very, very interesting. And comment below if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're listening to this on podcast, screenshot this episode and let me know, what risk did you take this year, or how did you step out of your comfort zone? And a few examples would be, you got yourself more visible on social media. You decided to step on stages and get your message out to the world, whether on a podcast, a YouTube channel, a physical stage. You showed up to networking events and you went alone. You did it anyway, even though you were scared or even though you didn't want to, and you got yourself uncomfortable. These are just some examples. There's so many more, but I want to know, because what I've found is that the things or the places that we feel like we're taking risks or we're stepping out of our comfort zones is going to be the place where we see the most growth. So it's really important that you acknowledge these, because there's so much growth in this process. And when you answer the second part of the question, which is, what did I learn from this experience? Maybe it was, you know what? I got uncomfortable and my coach told me I have to speak to 3 new people a day. Well, that was new for me, and amazing relationships came out of that. Or I got new clients from that experience, or I started making more content or showing up in places I've never been before. And the result was XYZ. Get really clear on this, because this is what will give you so much growth, so much opportunity. And it's literally the thing that you're most scared of, the thing that you feel like you're risking or stepping out of your comfort zone on, will bring you the most growth. So comment below, let me know the thing that you stepped out of your comfort zone on, the thing that you took risk on, and what was the effect of that? What was the ROI on that? Because I'm so excited to hear one of yours specifically, what it was. And then you're going to see in the comments below what other people are also sharing as well, feeling as well, right? So comment below, let me know. And by the way, you guys, if you are loving this episode, if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and share with another high performer that needs to see this, because we all get the opportunity to go through this exercise, to end our year strong and go into 2024, to go into the new year with a power plan that is going to set you apart from other people, set you apart from yourself. This is right now, this is the roadmap. This review right now is going to be the thing that sets you apart from the old you and the new you. So share this with someone, share this with another high performer who would appreciate and would implement these questions. The final question to end your year strong, to do this powerful end of the year review, is, what are my top priorities and goals for the upcoming year? And what actionable steps can I take to achieve them? Again, I love this question so much, because not only are you identifying your goals, your priorities, my family, my business, myself, my own health, right? Like, what are your priorities in the upcoming year? Maybe for you, you're like, you know what? Once a month, I'm going to get myself a massage, or once a week, I'm going to go on date nights with my husband, or I'm going to make sure that I prioritize getting more visible, right, on my social media channels, because I have a message and I got to get it out to the world. Whatever yours is, I want you to identify these top priorities, and then what actionable steps are you going to do to achieve them? Give yourself the action plan. And what's so powerful about this, why this is different than anything else you're going to see out there, why this is different than any other power plan or any other year-end review, is because you're not just saying what went well. You're focusing on the action steps that you're going to take to propel yourself forward, to give yourself a game plan, and not just, I want this, but these are the things I'm going to do to show up, take action, and make it happen. So as you go through these 13 questions, again, this is a 3-step process. Your audit is first. Your second is your calendar. Your third are these questions. And when you go through this with your team or your spouse or any of those stakeholders that are really important in your life, you will already have the answers to these questions. You're already going to have your roadmap, your game plan, because you've answered these questions and you know exactly what you're going after. So my hope for you in 2024 is that you go into the new year fresh with a new set of eyes, and you get to focus on becoming the best version of you from the you that there was yesterday, from the you that was from last year. Because this game plan right in front of you, these 13 questions, you guys, are going to give you the roadmap. So go through these questions. They're so powerful. These 13 questions. Do your calendar review, do your audit, answer the questions with the stakeholders, and 2024 is going to be your year. Claim it. Comment below. 2024 is going to be my year. I want to see you claim it. I want to see you take action. If you believe it, comment below. Let me know, because you got to claim it. You got to believe it before it's going to happen. So thank you guys for being here. I just wanted to share with you my gratitude for you for being here with the Slay Your Day community. 2023, January of 2023, we launched this podcast. I'm so grateful for you, this community, because you guys are what makes all of this happen. By sharing, by liking, by commenting, by showing up and being here. I'm so grateful for you. My hope, my wish for you is that you come in, you use this content, you implement this content, and you can truly go out and slay your day. However, now we're going to use this content to go out and slay our 2024. Happy New Year, you guys. I am so blessed that you're here. Thank you for being a part of this community. Make sure that you check out the show notes in the description below. I have freebies for you into my free Facebook group, into planners and downloads and content. So don't forget about that. Happy New Year, you guys. Now go out and slay your new year.